Hey everybody, so last night I went to check out the Bring Me the Horizon live immersive visual experience, whatever, in theaters in Colorado, and absolutely blown away. Definitely the best concert film I've ever seen, and I really didn't expect anything less from Bring Me the Horizon because they're just on top of their game at all points. Um, so definitely go check it out, and don't forget to wear your plugs. I'll just give you a little bit of a rundown. Uh, uh, we opened with some really cool footage of just the band um, talking kind of about how they got to where they are and how they got to do that gig in Brazil, along with a couple of clips of really early, gigs, probably around 2008 that they had in Brazil, and then it goes right into Dark Side. You've probably seen, maybe you've seen the first 7 minutes of the film that they released on YouTube. Then from there it just becomes an absolutely awesome experience. I mean, very few films, regardless of concert films or Hollywood productions, feel this immersive with the panning in and out constantly with the drones, the close-ups that they get with Ollie and the rest of the band members. It's utterly sensational, and it's just mayhem, beautiful mayhem put on screen. And I think really my only complaint would be there may be too many cuts of the audience. I would have liked to see kind of more of the band, but the ones that really just gave me chills are when they had the drones going woo, swooping through the stadium in Sao Paulo, and what an incredible experience that was, going just through, capturing everything, the smoke in the crowd, and of course, it's outdoors. It's beautiful. Um, the songs hit so hard. They're absolutely firing on all cylinders as a band. They have been for a very long time now. You could probably see with the merch behind me that I'm a little bit crazy for Bring Me the Horizon. I've been to at least 20 of their shows in the past 20 years. So, and I would have gotten more, but I don't know. Old knees, right? So, this was almost, this probably was as fun as really any of those. You feel like you're right there, and it's just so cool to see those guys 30 feet high on an awesome screen. And the songs that really just made it for me were, I'm a big Sempiternal guy, so of course Shadow Moses, Sleepwalking, those were phenomenal performances. They just did such a great job, especially with Sleepwalking. It was just so deeply awesome. Not a huge Song of the Fan, Amen, but that was maybe the coolest part of the whole night because of the computer graphics that they do, turning Ollie into like an actual demon and stuff, which totally works. And then as we get later on to the set, Kingslayer was really cool. Great job by Circus Head and Bring Me the Horizon for directing that one, because it was just incredible. And I'm kind of at a loss for words, really, with just how absolutely stunning it was. So if you can find one of the 200 theaters that it's in, get to it. And then people really in my own theater kind of went pretty darn nuts for Throne, which is the last song. And then the interludes throughout, they're just so good. This could easily become so overstuffed. It's not. It's perfect. With the next gen post-human narrative, things like that, all the characters that BMTH has included in their sets now, and the computer graphics, everything. It was dizzying, but it could have just become way too overstuffed, way too much too quickly, and that, thank God, that's not the case. So, and every song just hit so hard. Happy Song is just awesome. They just went crazy for that. Ollie, he really took the time to address the fact that because his wife is Brazilian, how much he's fallen in love with the country, and you can tell that the people of Brazil just love him equally right back. They love that band so much. Almost got a little overwhelming with all the people crying in the crowd and stuff like that. Which again is my only complaint. It's a very small one at that. The pyrotechnics go very hard. everything is just completely on point. I really don't know how they directed some of those cameras. Like if you go see it like in Kingslayer, it's just it's just whirling around with what I suppose are drones, perhaps some anchored, cameras. I'm not that big of a director or anything like that, so it just gave me chills. And seeing it on a hot, well, spring night in Colorado, it's like 80 degrees when I went, which is not normal. But man, it just rah rah rah. It was so cool, so good. Every last aspect was perfectly done. It's funny that they were able to do this over one night in Sao Paulo as opposed to multiple nights, because it looks like they would have had to go, oh wait, stop, let's let's go from take one again. And of course, they didn't do that. So, and then you got the fan footage, which was very, very cool being sent in. Everything was just massive engagement. And like I said, the best concert film I've ever seen. The only one that actually kind of reminds me of it is, if anybody remembers U2, Live from Red Rocks, Under a Blood Red Sky. It was kind of like the same thing in terms of how they set up the cameras. Although that one's from the 80s, I believe. So, it was the same level of, like, uh, of perseverance or grandiosity, I suppose. Although this is on a much bigger scale. I was enthralled. If you're a fan of Bring Me the Horizon, you're going to want to try to see this in theaters. And I know that it can be kind of limited worldwide, but the good news is you'll be able to see it on your TVs and stuff once it comes out. So in April, I think. So do not sleep on this. This was a once in a lifetime event. And heck, I'm thinking about going to see it in 2 days when it's also on screens right by me on the 28th. So it was flawless. It was perfectly well done. And even though it's a bit of a mystery, what Horizon's going to be doing for the next chapter of their story, the next gen story, this is it perfectly encapsulates it. It's like them posting a flag at the top of Mount Everest, so to speak. It was insane. And I just went to see Project Hail Mary the day prior to that. And I got to say, while Project Hail Mary is a better movie, I don't even know why I'm comparing apples and oranges here, but it is still a film, live in Sao Paulo. So that was nearly as deeply thrilling to watch, being around this band for as long as I have and being a fan of this band for as long as I have. And I just can't say how much it meant to me, and how much it meant to the people in the theater. Also, it was really cool as people in the theater. They're a little bit older, I'd say, probably around, I'd say the ages ranged from like 25 to, well, my age, like 37, right around there. So, very well behaved. Just a very, very fun time. Less talking, less activity than in other films that I've been to, for sure. So it was great. Go see it. A plus 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 plus. 5 stars, 10 out of 10, whatever you want to say, for Bring Me the Horizon live in Sao Paulo. Live immersive visual experiments. Go check it out. It's a roller coaster.